Welcome back, Mountaineers. You're watching the A Game. I'm Chris Daniels.
I'm Shaheem Stafford, and we're here to keep you updated on anything and everything App State sports from this past week. This week, we'll update you on new recruits and transfers from the football team, student athletes who were recognized for their performances, schedule releases for softball and women's golf, and recaps on all games and matches from the weekend. All this and more coming to you now.
The Mountaineers football lineup will be looking a little different next year as 2021 graduate Jameer Smith will be leaving number 5 Notre Dame Fighting Irish and transferring to Appalachian State University as a graduate student. Joining the Mountaineers' already solid running back ranks for the 2021-2022 season, Smith will complete his spring semester in Indiana before coming to Boone to join the Mountaineers for the summer workouts and joining the team in the fall, and because of cold, will be eligible to play 2 full years of Appalachian football. Smith is a North Carolina native, having grown up just 3.5 hours away from App in Sanford, North Carolina, and transferring to be closer to his family and for his own mental health. He was a 3-star recruit for Notre Dame in 2018 and quickly made a name for himself with the Irish. In his second season, he became a key part of the offense and over his 3 years rushed for over 200 yards and averaged 4.2 yards per carry. In his freshman year, he only played in 2 games, but he still rushed 4 yards 4 times and received twice for 28 yards against Stanford. In 2019, he rushed for 180 yards on 42 carries and rushed for 2 touchdowns, a career high season for the athlete. He scored both touchdowns in their season opener against Louisville and rushed for 58 yards against Duke. After one game with Notre Dame in 2020, Smith announced that he would no longer be with the team for personal reasons and did not play for the rest of the season. He is one of 7 players from Notre Dame who have entered the transfer portal this year and the fifth to announce that he is committed to a school. The announcement of his transfer was initially released on social media and blowing up almost instantly. Jameer Smith will be a great addition to the Mountaineer offense and is sure to help us with another winning season.
With signing day coming and going for new recruits who will be playing Mountaineer football next season, App State had record-setting signing classes for 2021 with 2 new recruits. The Mountaineers' 2021 recruiting class is ranked first among all teams in the Sun Belt and sixth in schools that are part of the Group of Five, according to 24/7 Sports. Composite rankings only Cincinnati, Memphis, SMU, UCF, and Boise State had higher ranked class in the Group of Five schools. App State was ranked 64th among all FBS schools, a big improvement from their 85th ranking last year. All 22 of the recruits have earned a 3-star ranking, a first for the Mountaineers. It has also brought the average player rating to a whopping 83.08, the highest in App State football history. 8 of the incoming student athletes are in the top 15 highest rated App State signees ever, including offensive lineman Jaden Lindsey and Coaston Powers, who are both listed among the top 25 offensive guards recruits in the country. Quarterback DC Tabscott and Andre Goodman, defensive backs Jordan Favors and Jonathan Stiller, wide receiver Deshaun Brown, and the nation's 24 best kicker Michael Hughes. Also joining the team will be Cohen Sutton, who will be joining his older brother Corey Sutton on the field, with both playing wide receiver. Overall, the App State recruiting 3 new linebackers, 10 offensive linemen, 3 defensive linemen, 4 defensive backs, and 3 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 1 tight end, and 1 kicker. With a recruiting class as amazing as this one, you can help but feel excited about the next season's football team.
Appalachian State's men's basketball schedule has been halted for the foreseeable future, with all games postponed until further notice due to COVID-19 exposure on the team. Official reports say that 3 of the 4 cases are student athletes. Others who are in close contact have already been traced and tested. Everyone who has been tested positive for the virus is currently isolating, and those who have been in contact are quarantining until their results return. The team was scheduled to play in a 2 game series against Georgia State this weekend. The game has been postponed until further notice, and it is uncertain how this will affect the rest of the Mountaineer season. We will continue to update you as information continues to come out. For now, we hope for a speedy and safe recovery for everyone with the virus and peace of mind for everyone on the team.
App State's women basketball hosted the Georgia State Panthers this weekend during a two-game series in Boone, North Carolina, with the Mountaineers losing their first game 72 to 62 and their second game 48 to 50. In that Friday game, the Mountaineers started Tyrell Wilson, Pre Stanley, Michaela Porter, Brooke Biggot, and Lena Gosnell. The game started out slow with both teams playing aggressive defense, but after a little over a minute of play, the Michaela Porter scored the first goal with a free throw after being fouled on her way to the basket. The Panthers returned the favor with a jumper on the next possession. Both teams continued to score with neither team letting the other go on a run. The quarter ended with neither team ever taking the lead larger than 2 points and App up 11 to 9. The second quarter started with a three-pointer to give the Mountaineers a 5-point lead. App held the lead for the majority of the second quarter with its growing as large as 7 points. As time dwindled down to the 2.5 minute mark, Georgia State brought back the score to end the third period tied at 25 apiece. The second half started off with two jumpers from Panthers giving them a 4-point lead early on. A jumper by Brooke Biggot 3 minutes in kickstarted App's offense and led them on a 24-17 run for the rest of the third quarter, giving the Mountaineers a 49-42 lead at the end of the quarter. In the fourth, Georgia State started to close the gap and tied the game with 6 minutes left to play. Georgia State continued to score and was able to hold the lead until the buzzer, giving them the 72-62 win. The scoring leaders for the Mountaineers were Lainey Gosnell with a season-high 21 points, Brooke Biggot with 14, Janae Sanders with 11, and Pre Stanley with 10. In their Saturday game, the Mountaineers started off slow, giving up the first basket to the Panthers and not scoring one of their own until almost 3 minutes of play. The game was close for the first half of the quarter, but at the 5-minute mark, Georgia State started to control the game, going on a 10-5 run to finish out the quarter, 19-10. In the second quarter, Georgia State still controlled the game, scoring the first two baskets, bringing their lead up to 12 points before Pre Stanley scored a three-pointer for the Mountaineers. App State slowly whittled down Georgia's lead, breaking App within 6 at the end of the half. App State started off the second half with a jumper from Brooke Biggot before the Panthers went on an 8-0 run to bring their lead up to 12. The Mountaineers were done though, went on a 8-4 run in the last 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the quarter to bring them within 6 going into the final quarter. During the final 10 minutes of play, App State turned on the Jets and scored 5 consecutive baskets for an 11-0 run to tie the game at 48 all with less than a minute on the clock. The Mountaineers tried their hardest and had some good shots, but the Panthers finished the game with a layup to give them a 50-48 win over App. Top scorers for that Saturday game were Lainey Gosnell with 14 points in her fourth double-double of the season, Pre Stanley with 12 points, Janae Sanders with 8, and Michaela Porter with 5. Next week, the Mountaineers will have one home and one away match with Coastal Carolina on Wednesday and Saturday. Let's go Mountaineers.
Michaela Porter, senior guard on the App State's women's basketball team, has been named the Appalachian State University Wake Health Student Athlete of the Month. Originally from Pennsylvania, Porter is a senior psychology major set to graduate in May of 2021. Before coming to App State, she played 2 years at the University of Cincinnati from the 2017-18 season until the 2018-19 season and has been playing basketball with the Mountaineers since. Even in her first season at App, Porter was an important member to the team. She played in 29 out of the 30 games and scored over 100 points. In the final 7 games, she scored 69 points and averaged 10 points per game, third best on the team, and first from the bench. This season, Porter is an even bigger part of the team, having started in all 17 games that the team has played this far, getting the most playing time on the team with an average of 30 minutes per game, scoring the third most with 130 points, and averaging 8.1 points per game. In the Mountaineers' 71-52 win against South Alabama, she scored a season-high 16 points, leading the team in points for the game. In just 2 years at App, Michaela Porter has played over 900 minutes of basketball and scored over 250 points. She started playing basketball in early middle school and fell in love with the sport after seeing others play and improve, making her want to improve her own basketball skills. She enjoys hanging out with her teammates on and off the court, and believes that the friendship she has made off and off the court helps her and her team play better on the court. Congratulations, Michaela, and thank you for working so hard for your team. Up next, we will take a look at some sledding videos from this past week.
Why does Chloe get so much?
Welcome back to the A game. The Mountaineers wrestling team finished their regular season this weekend, ending with a 7-1 in-conference record after a 33-12 win over VMI and a 41-3 win against the Citadel. This marks the wrestling team's seventh consecutive season undefeated in conference or just suffering a single loss. 6 of the Mountaineers went 2-0 this weekend, winning both of the matches that they were wrestling in, including Anthony Brito, Sean Carter, Will Formato, Thomas Flintz, Jonathan Milner, and Cody Russell. In their first duel against VMI, App State won 8 of their 10 matchups with 2 wins by technical fall, 5 wins by major decisions, and 1 win by a decision. App took the lead early in the duel, winning the first 7 matches, giving the Mountaineers a 29-0 lead over VMI. VMI won the next 2 matches by fall, giving them their only points at the meet. At finish off VMI with 1 more win, and the Mountaineers moved on to the Citadel off the bat. The Mountaineers were warmed up and ready to wrestle against the Bulldogs and won 9 out of 10 matches in the duel, only giving them 3 points. App State won with 4 major decisions, 2 by technical fall, 1 by decision, 1 by fall, and 1 by forfeit. The only loss to App was with a win in the 285-pound weight class by decision in the last matchup of the meet. The end of the regular season brought App a 7-1 record, with their only loss coming from a meet against the number 4 ranked school, NC State. The SoCon Championship Tournament will be held February 28th in Boone, and the NCAA Championship will be held from March 18th through the 20th in St. Louis, Missouri.
This week, App State wrestling senior Cody Russell was named the Southern Conference Wrestler of the Week after his outstanding performance in his matches against Chattanooga and Presbyterian. He was originally recruited by NC State and wrestled as a redshirt freshman with the Wolfpack for 1 season before transferring to App State in the 2017-18 season, where he has wrestled since. In his first season with the Mountaineers, he went 13 for 13 overall and 6 for 1 in conference matches, earning him a spot on the Southern Conference All-Freshman team. In the 2018-19 season, he automatically qualified for the NCAA championships because of his title as a number 2 seed during the SoCon Championship in Boone. During the championships, Russell went 1 for 2, giving App their first win by fall in the tournament since 2016. He qualified for the championship again in the 1920 season after going 26-10, but the tournament was canceled due to Corona. This season, Russell is 9 for 1 in matches, with 6 of his wins coming from his bonus points, and is undefeated with 6 wins in Southern Conference duels. All 5 of the top major rankings have placed him in the top 25 college wrestlers, ranging from 22nd on track wrestling to number 18th on open mat. Russell has been wrestling at 125 pounds this season, and he has won more than 65 matches since coming to App State in 2017. Russell will wrestle again in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament this year in late February, and is expected to qualify for the NCAA Wrestling Championship that will take place in March.
App State wrestling sophomore Will Formato is being recognized this month as the Southern Conference Wrestler of the Month. Formato has outscored his opponents by a combined 93-7 mark and has had a phenomenal 11-1 record to start the wrestling season. Formato wrestles in the 165 to 174 pound weight class and has participated in 12 matches this season. 8 of those matches have been against wrestlers ranked within the top 50 in the nation. His month included a shutout against NC State Thomas Bullard, who was ranked 7th at the time, a win against Dajon Castro, who qualified for the 2020 NCAA Championship Tournament in a decision which gave Formato the only win this season against undefeated Gardner-Well wrestler R.J. Mosley. Formato's only loss of the season so far came from a close 75 decision against top 15 wrestler Jake Keating from Virginia. In the beginning of the season, Formato was unranked, but now stands as one of the top college wrestlers, climbing as high as 10th in the country. His career record has now been raised to 35-15 overall and 10-3 in SoCon duels. Formato is one of the top scorers for the Mountaineers this year and has been an integral part of each and every one of App's matches. Thank you, Will, for all of your hard work.
For the second week in a row, the App State women's track and field team traveled to Lynchburg, Virginia, this time to compete in the Brent Tosma Invitational hosted by Liberty University. The meet did not give out team scores, but the Mountaineers still placed in multiple events. In the 1,000-meter run, 2 of App State's own finished in the top 3 spots, with Bianca Copeman taking second with a time of 3 minutes, 9 seconds, and 41 milliseconds, and Faith Yuntz coming right behind her in third with a time of 3 minutes, 9 seconds, and 58 milliseconds. The times earned both Copeman and Yuntz a spot in the top 10 in program history for their 1,000-meter run, with Copeman at 6th and Yuntz at 8th. In the long jump, Taylor Smith took first with a jump of 5.72 meters, Maya Hanks taking second with a 5.59-meter leap, and Nevaeh Haddock tying for 6th with a 5.26-meter jump. 3 Mountaineers finishing the top 6 in the triple jump, with Jamelia Peterson finishing second with a 12.12-meter jump. Hassani Burris in 4th, jumping 11.58 meters, and Nevaeh Haddock jumping 11.35 meters, earning her 6th place. The 1-mile run saw 3 Mountaineers earn spots in the top 8. Izzy Aveli broke a personal record and took third with a time of 5 minutes, 9 seconds, 17 milliseconds. Kylie Freddy in 7th, coming in at 5 minutes, 16 seconds, and 14 milliseconds. And Jasmine Donahue coming right after Freddy with a time of 5 minutes, 17 seconds, and 10 milliseconds. The Mountaineers took 9th, 10th, and 11th in the 200-meter dash, with Jessica Dixon crossing the finish line in at 25 seconds, 28 milliseconds. Samara Gibson with a time of 25.58 seconds, and LaBria King in 25.76 seconds. In the 4x400 meter relay, the team of Jessica Dixon, Kylie Freddy, and Samara Gibson and Annie Jude took 9th with a time of 4 minutes, 8 seconds, 96 milliseconds. The team will travel to Liberty one more time next week to compete in Darius Dixon Invitational on February 12th and February 13th, the last meet before the Sun Belt Championships. After the break, we will give you all the latest updates on the softball and women's golf team.
Welcome back. App State football has already started gearing up for their 2021 season and has now released their schedule for the spring. The season has been shortened this year due to COVID, and the team will only be playing schools in the Sun Belt and ones that are nearby. The regular season will begin for the Mountaineers on March 13th with a weekend at South Alabama for a 3-game series against the Jaguars, and end with a 3-game weekend against Coastal Carolina and Boone on May 15th. App's home opener will be the following week on the weekend of March 19th against Texas State. The season will consist of 24 games consisting of 8 3-game series against different teams across the Sun Belt and will have 12 doubleheaders throughout the season. The team will play South Alabama, Texas State, Georgia Southern, and many more. At the end of the season, the Mountaineers will play in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament in Troy, Alabama from May 11th until May 15th. The team will be led by head coach Shelly Horner, assistant coaches Shane Showalter and Amanda Fairfield, and volunteer assistant coach Shannon Smith in the 2021 season. Last year, App State finished their 2020 season 13-9, scoring 83 runs 154 hits before the Sun Belt announced that all athletic events after March 16 were canceled, cutting out the last third of the Mountaineer season. 7 teams will be returning to play during the season, including Kenzie Longenecker, Kerry White, Sydney Hollins, Bailey Morton, and Silly Russell. The full 2021 softball schedule, as well as the team active roster, can be found at appstatesports.com.
The App State's women's golf team has now started preparing for the 2021 season and has released their spring schedule. App State will participate in 7 spring events throughout the season. One of the events will be hosted by App State and Morganton, NC for the Mimosa Hills Intercollegiate. App was scheduled to host the event last year, but it was canceled due to COVID. The Mountaineers will start their season by teeing off on February 21st and 22nd at the Schroeder Gus Invitational in Statesboro, Georgia, hosted by Georgia Southern, and end the regular season with the Mimosa Hill Intercollegiate hosted by App State on April 5th and 6th. App will round out the season with the Sun Belt Championship Tournament in Daytona Beach, Florida, that will be taking place on April 18th to the 20th on the LPGA International Course. Throughout the season, the Mountaineers will play in invitationals, intercollegiates, and bashes hosted by teams like VMI, South Alabama, NC and Georgia State. Head coach Heather Brown will be leading the Mountaineers for her 12th season at the helm and will be aided by assistant coach Savannah Wood, who will be entering her 3rd year in the position for this upcoming season. For the past 5 years, the women's golf team has boasted a top 10 seasonal team average in the program's history, and during the 2020 season was able to record the lowest seasonal team average in school history with 305.67 in just 15 rounds, despite the shortened season. All 8 student athletes from the 2019-2020 season will be returning this year, including Hannah Wang and Abby Bolt, who hold 2 of the lowest single-stroke records in program history. Anna Wang currently holds the lowest with 74.14, and Abby Bolt the 3rd lowest with 75.87. The team will also be adding freshman transfer student Ava Tharp to the roster. The golf team will be giving their all this season, so make sure to support them until the end.
That's all we have for you this week, sports fans. I'm Shaheem Stafford.
And I'm Chris Daniels. Tune in next week to stay up to date on all things Appalachian State sports.